Hello everyone, and welcome to Eplan CIDEON Virtual Fair 2017. If your company has ever wondered how can we take our Eplan engineering data and migrate it into a PDM system, then you're watching the right presentation. Because today I'll be going over that PDM integration. My name is Travis Stonebraker, and I have an electrical engineering degree, and I work with CIDEON in America. And before I begin my presentation, I want to make it clear that if you have any questions at any point in time, feel free to ask them into the chat, and we'll be able to get to them at the end of the presentation. And also, if you wait to the very end of the presentation, I can tell you about a chance to win an iPad. So one of the main questions that people ask with this PDM integration is, what does it offer me? What can my company get and benefit from if we use this integration? So within this graphic, you see the high-end overview of that integration and what it can actually offer you and your company. So one of the main points is you can have a single source of truth. This document can be maintained in one system. So that way your engineering and your business units can all work together in one system. So that way you don't have certain information on just your engineers' files and then some information within your business unit. Everything works collaboratively. So if you have this collaboration, that means you're going to be able to increase productivity. You're going to be able to go from engineering to design, manufacturing, and marketing pretty much at a quicker speed because of this integration. And how do you do that with this increased productivity? Well, with metadata synchronization. So for instance, you can take information from your PDM system and put it on the project level of your Eplan project, or you can take certain information from your ERP system and migrate it to your parts database within your Eplan project. And this could mean anything from a description within a document or a customer name, customer logos, as well as any kind of part information, as well as the ERP number that is within the actual parts library. One of the other pieces with the synchronization is you can build this report generation automatically. So with Eplan, you have this automatic translation that can occur, and then you can build these reports just with one button click. So some things that were done manually before can be done automatically with just one button click. And just like I explained previously, that you'll be able to build these ERP material numbers. So you'll be able to pull from your PDM system and push it into your parts library so that when engineers work, they don't have to worry about what the business needs for their material numbering. Everything is linked directly to their parts library. Now, once ERP numbers are assigned, you'll be able to build a full bill of material. And that means that instead of being on a piece of paper or an Excel spreadsheet, or trying to take a report from Eplan and then manually add it into the system, it'll be able to build automatically and then be used for sales bombs or any other type of bomb applications. And what this means also with this integration is that it uses all the Eplan standard functionality. So this report generation, this metadata synchronization with a PDM integration, everything is just basic Eplan functionality at the end of the day. So for my next slide, this is actually what the integration looks like. So within Eplan, all there is just a particular menu option that gets added to your environment. So for me, I have SAP integration with Eplan. So at the very top, you'll see SAP PLM, but this doesn't mean that there aren't other PDM systems out there that this can work with. And you'll be able to see the options down below. So for instance, you see the create materials, the build a bill of materials, create dependent documents, which means these PDFs are the report generation piece that you can do automatically within Eplan. So the next piece is actually showing this ERP PDM metadata synchronization. So in the screen is actually the project properties view within the Eplan project. So in there, you can actually define in the configuration which properties are actually going to be integrated together. Do you want to include, for instance, the job number? Do you want to include the project description, the particular PDM system information? So with SAP, you have a document information record. And within this document information record, you may want the document number, the document version, the part, the document type, change number information. And within the parts library, it works exactly the same way as the project level, which you will then see on this page. So this actually shows the parts level basis, and this works exactly the same way as the project level. You can define which properties are going to be mapped with your PDM system, and that gives you a lot of flexibility within this tool. So that way you don't have to input at multiple places the same information. It's going to save a lot of time and effort. Some of this information may just include the ERP number, a material description, maybe the weight, the manufacturer of the project. And this also works with the data portal. So when you pull a project down from the data portal, you can assign an ERP number to use within your bill of material. So at the end of the day, the workflow optimization is going to reduce all these overhead costs, so that way you don't have to input the same data in multiple locations. So the next piece I want to go over is actually the report generation with the multilingual option. So the very first report that I have is an actual English report. So this is actually a parts list, or kind of a bill of material report that I had in my Eplan project. And you'll see here that the name of the report is all in English, that the column headers are all in English, the material description names are all in English. And then the next report is actually shown in German. And you can see that the name of the report has changed to German, as well as the column header information has changed to German, and also the material description names has changed automatically. This is because there's a built-in translation into Eplan, where you have 17 out-of-the-box translations, but you can have up to over 100 configured language transitions with this. And what does that actually give you at the end of the day, this automated translation? This means that you're going to be able to design anywhere, manufacture anywhere, and then share freely with anyone. So if you have people from around the world, if you have certain manufacturers that need information in Russian rather than in English, it can be easily configured. And that means you have this worldwide collaboration with the tool, and it's actually just a piece of Eplan itself. There is really not a lot of customization required. And so at the end of the day, you're going to be streamlining your engineering and your business processes together. Now, the last couple topics I want to discuss is this structured bill of material. So for the IT-minded, when you actually build a bill of material, which is shown here, you have this view where you have these Eplan criterion and also the BOM filters that you can select with this menu option. Down below, you see the different levels within Eplan project, and then on the right-hand side, you see a green box. This green box, actually, when you select it, brings open this other screenshot here. It's actually a validation on your ERP system. So it looks in the parts library and your parts database, and it validates if this schematic has this part in there. Does it have an ERP number? When you click the box, it opens up this other view. If it shows red, that means it does not have an ERP number. If it shows green, that means it does have an ERP number, and you're able to build a bill of material. All this information can actually be done automatically. So this is how you get your single source of truth. You can build these template files that are going to be stored at a central location that everyone can access. And that way, when you actually use the integration, you can pull from that library, and you're already going to have a version controlled diagram actually. So the ZW1 project backup file is going to be completely version controlled with data synchronization, and also these different warehouse bins that you're going to be able to create for the bill of material. You can have already defined, as well as a report generation piece. So you know what pieces need to be translated and what reports need to be run on a consistent basis. And this can automatically be defined in one template. So that gives you this consistent project structure identifiers. So that way it's actually going to save you design time and energy from engineering into your production environment. And this also is going to reduce human errors through this process automation. So that way you know that whatever is on the project level is going to be within SAP and vice versa. And as always, thank you for watching this demonstration. And if you would like to contact me, this is my information below. And at any point in time, if you have any questions regarding this presentation, please submit them now, and we will gladly answer them. So as you are writing up the questions, I'm just going to go over some of the basic questions that we get asked a lot of the time. So for instance, what benefits would my company receive if we use a solution? So like I went over in my presentation, is a lot of the main benefits are going to be this process automation, where you'd have to add things once instead of over and over again with this metadata synchronization from your PDM system and ERP system to your Eplan project and your parts database. You're also going to be able to have a fully version controlled documentation and be able to build reports automatically. That is a lot of really nice benefits. I see a customer asked, what ERP PDM systems does Eplan integrate with? Well, actually out of the box, it said we do have an SAP integration, we have an Autodesk Vault integration, we have a PTC Windchill, and as well as a Siemens Teamcenter integration. But since this is actually the Eplan ERP PDM integration suite, it can be actually configured for other PDM systems. If you have a particular one that you would like to discuss, just send me an email and we can discuss it later. And one other question before I end the presentation is, we were asked, will this integration work with all Eplan solutions? And yes, since the ZW1 is actually a full project file backup that includes all this other information from Pro Panel and fluids, that you will be able to have all this information into one system. And before I go, I just want to make sure that everyone knows, in order to be applicable for the iPad, that if you fill out the feedback form that you'll find in the information page, if you fill it out, you submit it back into Eplan, then you have a chance to win an iPad. And as always, thank you for watching my presentation.